Hi guys and good evening creeps. Hi guys and creeps. Oh, hold on, let me turn off this fan. Oh, okay. Okay guys and creeps. Guys and creeps. I just wanted to jump on here. I can't do a live because I just can't be bothered with Jade and Anderson right now. My mind is too heavily on some subject matters, and I just can't be bothered with both of them trolling and stalking and harassing this channel right now. And honestly, Breezy, I want to do a live. I'm not going to open the box without you on the live. I want you to be on the live so you can see me and talk to me while I open the boxes. So it's not that I'm not excited for the boxes, it's just that I want you to be with me when I open the boxes. So anyway, guys, what I wanted to do, I've been kind of like off of the YouTube for a while. I would love to do lives daily. I don't have a problem with doing lives daily. I love doing lives. Okay. For anybody that don't know this channel and thinks that this channel, you know, kind of this is a very unique channel. If you compare this channel to anything that's online, this channel is extremely unique. I mean, I'm the only person with this type of voice, okay? So, you know, what? Okay, I'm going to tell you real quick what the purpose of this channel is. Growing up, I didn't have any friends, okay? And I was very quiet, and I didn't really express myself. And I didn't really tell people a lot about myself or who I was, because I was afraid. I went through most of my childhood being very fearful of people, and I was always terrified and scared of everything. I was really scary. I was really shy. I was really timid. I was really meek, and I was really humble. So, you know, when I found out about this YouTube, okay, when I first started my YouTube, I was very like professional. I was doing little health and fitness videos. I didn't use profanity. I was, you know, very, you know, like, okay, I want to do health and fitness and help people with naturopathy and alternative medicines and things like that. But then I saw that YouTube was just fucking me over, so I decided to use my YouTube platform to just act really silly. So I went through a phase of just being really, really wild and really silly and really, you know, just not giving a fuck about the content. I would just get a thought in my mind and I would just jump on here and you know, do little silly, stupid things all the time. Because it was fun to express myself in a creative way based on whatever I felt. Okay. So then I started using my platform to address my gripes and my complaints, and I started bitching a lot. And I started finding that this was very therapeutic to my mind. Instead of just walking around with my feelings and emotions bottled up, I had an outlet now that I could just explode on. I could just have a massive verbal explosion and, you know, let anybody who's watching, you know, view it and see what's bothering me. See what's troubling me today. See what's on my mind today. See what is, you know, what the real thing is that's happening in Florida. What's reality of Florida? It's not always sunshines and beaches and tourism all over the place. You know, you know, I just wanted to, I love having this platform to be able to use it to my own therapy. I have my own therapy of dealing and coping, you know, and being able to have a voice and to be heard, you know, to be listened to be, you know, even though I'm not a respected big YouTuber, but, you know, I have a platform. And then right now my mind is on, you know, using my platform for educational purposes. I always started off as educational in the first place. But, you know, my heart was into alternative medicines. My heart was into health and fitness. And it still is to this day. I'm always going to embrace health and fitness. But right now, my main concern is Medicare fraud, Medicare fraud, Medicaid fraud, death doctors, illegal Baker Acts, people getting killed for money, money schemes, money scams, fraudsters. I'm really aggravated with the way things are going, with all that type of stuff. So, my mind is, I made a couple of videos about mad doctors and stuff, and I'm, trying to tell people about how to be their own lawyer and how to be your own advocate and your own voice. So that being said, this is just a little update video about the direction of this channel. I wish I had more strength and vitality. And honestly, I looked in the mirror today, and I'm not joking. Because as you know, I used to work for Delta Airlines. I used to work for Continental Airlines, United Airlines. I could run a whole airport by myself. I was skilled in airport operations. I was also an ergonomics inspector and a fitness instructor for Delta Airlines. I could do all kinds of stuff for the airline industry. And I looked at myself after I thought about that, all the stuff I could do, running around, jumping on a tug, picking up cargo, getting inside the belly of a 757 and stack loading it, stacking carts, going to Minneapolis, stacking carts, carts, the bags I used to work in the bag room from time to time. I have to stack all those bags. When people check them in, I would stack them on the carts and then go jump inside the airplane and load them. Okay. Occasionally I would do that too. Said to myself, I looked myself in the eyes in the mirror, and I said, you know what? I miss my old self. I said, I miss the old you. I miss the Delta you. I miss you, the Delta. I miss the Delta Anna. I do. I miss that person that you used to be. I miss that strong person that was slim and fit with a six-pack and the muscles. I miss you. I really do. And I thought to myself, I miss being that young and being that, having that type of muscle strength and those abilities. And I thought to myself, would I be able to do that again if given an opportunity tomorrow? Hell no, I'm far too sick and weak for any of that. My body is recovering from all the damages of being in those facilities. And honestly, I feel so bloated and so heavy that, just thinking of what I could used to do makes me exhausted. I feel like taking a fucking nap just thinking of that. I'm not, I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I miss that Delta in me. I miss the Delta side of myself, but I have to move on to other things now. I hope to, go into growing my own marijuana. I do have to go to school and study plant growing. Do have to be certified and licensed, and I'm ready to go back to school and get an education in a different field to make the Lion Puss Kush available to everyone legally. So it is going to be some school work. It is going to be some hard work, and it is, and I do qualify for a student loan to pay for my tuition of the of what I need to go back to school. And then I also want to go to flight school, and learn how to fly helicopters. But that's more like a hobby skill, not really a professional skill. My professional skill is that I want to get into the marijuana business. So anyway, that's my goal and aspiration. And believe it or not, and trust me, if I set my mind to something, I focus on it, strengthen it up, and make it happen. When I was a little girl, I used to, in the summertime, when I was up there in Michigan near Canada, the main airline was Northwest Airlines. It was based in Detroit. It was in Livonia. It was about an hour from where I was. In the summertime, I would lay down on my back and I would look at those airplanes as they were flying in, because they would get ready to land or they would take off from the airport. We could see it from where we were. And I was to look at those planes and I'd say, one day I'm going to work for that airline. I don't know. I was between the ages of 10 and 14. I said, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but one day I'm going to work for that airline. One day I'm going to be on that plane and I'm going to work for them. And lo and behold, who was the one that I retired from? Delta. Delta bought New York. No, not New York. I'm sorry. Delta bought Northwest. So I retired from the airline that I promised myself as a little girl laying on my back underneath that mulberry tree. I promised myself one day I'm going to work for them. And what did I do? I retired from them as the Delta. So dreams do come true. You have to focus and really want it. And what did I do? I retired from it. But I made my plans at the age between 10 and 14. I said, that's going to be my world one day. Living through that airline. And I did. I did it. Okay. So, you got to dream big. And I mean, that might not be big to you, but it was damn sure a very big accomplishment. I have a lot of satisfaction in knowing that what I decided to do when I was a child, I accomplished it to the fullest. I didn't make no mistakes or errors at all. It went from start to finish in full completion. And as the Satanists, atheists, and Luciferians would say, I completed the top stone on the pyramid. Okay? 3 points, absolute, and the Christians would say the Trinity. But I don't fuck with Christianity. I formed the pyramid. I did it in completion, baby. That did it in completion. That's why I could rock that pentagram proudly. I did it in full completion, baby. So anyway, okay, let me say this, okay? I just wanted to give you guys a pep talk. If you're a youngster and you got dreams and aspirations, let me tell you something I learned when I was a little kid also. I used to hear people say to other people, never tell nobody your plans, because there's always going to be somebody that's going to throw a monkey wrench in it. So I never told nobody my plans. When I was growing up, I kept it all to myself. You know how some little kids run around and say, when I grow up, I want to do this. When I grow up, I didn't tell nobody, because I said, ain't nobody going to fuck up my plans, throw a monkey wrench in my shit. You could be that little kid and run around and tell everybody, hey, I want to grow up and do this, and I want to grow up and do that. Or you could just be that motherfucker that keep your mouth shut and just let your dreams take you by yourself. You depend on yourself and don't ask nobody for no help. Do it all on your own. And that's how you feel your proudest and your best. Okay. I didn't have nobody to help me to do that. I did it all on my own. Okay, so anyway, guys, what I wanted to say, I said all that just to get to the fucking point. I think a lot, and I just been thinking a lot. I have a lot of things heavy on my brain. Had a lot of things heavy on my mind. Past, present, future things. And, my main concern is, honestly, this has been a very stressful week for me. I had to go ahead and start my court order therapy. That started yesterday. The court order therapy was the intake session was very long. It was about 100 questions of intake questions. I was so nervous because I didn't know if I would, I didn't know if it was going to be a pass or fail of these assessments. I'm the type of motherfucker, I just, I wait and listen first without asking a whole bunch of questions, because a lot of times you could say something to fuck yourself up. So I just, was answering the questions to the best of my ability. Always in the positive, nothing in the negative. I did admit to some childhood traumas and things like that. They asked me about my childhood. I said it was very traumatic. It was very awful. And to be honest with you, I never confessed that to anyone in a professional setting. Might say it on YouTube or to family that knew about it, but never to a complete stranger. It was the first time I ever said that to a complete stranger in a professional setting. And I really wanted to say that because I needed her to know some things in the therapy sessions about me and the horrible things, because she said, well, what brought you to this place where you had to be investigated by the CPS? And I had to explain the domestic violence, and I had to confess that the domestic violence has started all the way back from when I was a child. Because I'm not the one to play a blame game, But if we're gonna talk, then I can't sit here and keep, ignoring her questions. I gotta talk back and forth. And if you don't reveal everything and you're being badgered back and forth, then you're not gonna be honest. And you gotta be honest about who. Because if the question comes up, hey, okay, so what brought you to this point? What brought you to this level where you need therapy, court-ordered therapy, to get your child back? And then you start going over to, you have to replay what happened, what brought you to that point. And I said, fuck it, I gotta be honest about it. Even though I don't want to talk to this complete stranger about my life, but I don't have a choice because this is a court-ordered therapy session. And honestly, I gotta place the blame on a dumb motherfucker. I'm not the one to point the fingers at somebody, but if something is seriously somebody else's fault, I'm not gonna sit here and because the therapy sessions go to the CPS about what you've been talking about the therapist. Talking, I got a headache, guys. So, and my neck hurts. Okay, I'm tired, and once I sleep, then it'll heal up. Okay, when I get really tired and really stressed, I get a headache, and right now I got one of those because the tremendous stress of having to be badgered at that therapy session. Then I had court today, and I had to see the judge, and it took hours. I'll explain the courts in just a second. It was a successful court, but I'll tell you about the therapy session first. All this has been extremely, extremely stressful. It's extremely scary when for me, I'm scared of strangers. So I was dreading it. It was bogging me down with dread. I didn't have the ability to get on lives and laugh and be funny because I was worried and I was stressed, and I still am worried and stressed. I got other issues that I need to work out. I got more court dates. I got another therapy appointment in a few weeks, and I it's stressful. It's bothering me. Okay, I don't have the ability to just turn on the camera and do a live and be all happy and giddy when I'm stressed. I feel like I got a weight of the world on my shoulders. So what happened was, so I had to place the blame on what caused me to have to be in the court-ordered therapy, and I hated to talk to this stranger. I don't like talking to strangers face to face. It's on a Zoom, but I don't like talking to a complete stranger about these issues. I don't feel comfortable. Yeah, I feel comfortable in a company of strangers on YouTube because you're not like somebody that knows, where they can find me. But I don't, and it's not like like they're gonna come after me. But it's more like on a personal basis. They know you, you know them, you know where they're located, they know about me, they know about my past, they know about my present, they know what I'm going through. And I honestly don't feel comfortable talking to strangers about such personal issues. But so we went through the intake. I had to explain my childhood when this situation started with the abusive mother that ended in the domestic violence case, that ended in the CPS case, that ended in the homelessness. It's all started from the very beginning of when I was about 3 or 4 years old, and finally it ended at the age of 46 when we parted ways. And I'll be glad when she's officially out of my life. And because it's a gradual process of weeding this person out of my life. It's not an easy thing to end a relationship of 46 years with a relative. Well, yeah, I had to talk about that type of stuff. It was painfully difficult to talk about those things, and it wasn't an easy thing to do. It really wasn't. It was very difficult. I was dreading it. When it was finally over, I felt like a large weight off of my shoulders. I said, okay, I feel comfortable enough to make a YouTube video. I feel comfortable enough to get on and talk now, because at least that part of it is off my shoulders, and I could relax a little bit. It's off my shoulders, the weight is off. I can relax a little bit. I can calm down. So then I had to go to court today. I went to the magistrate. It's called a magistrate judicial hearing for dependency case. It's magistrate dependency, whatever the fuck. Okay, it's something like that. Something about magistrate hearing or some shit. I'm not a lawyer. Okay, so this is for anybody that is friends or a follower of Nina Unrated. Let me just touch on her real quick. As you know, Nina Unrated got her son Maximus taken from her. Her case happened in Broward County, Florida. I also got my daughter Ashlyn taken from me in Polk County, Florida by the same agency. And what struck me about the Nina Unrated is that for years she's been crying, talking about how she can't get her child back and how she can't afford a lawyer. So, before my daughter got taken from me, I used to be bothered by her story because her story just irritated me because it didn't seem to add up. It was very bizarre and it was very strange and very heartbreaking to listen to. All the crying and sobbing and you wondering if, what's going on with this lady and that child. And then you find out when you go through the same thing from the same agency that the stuff the false narrative that she gives you on the YouTube is not even how things work in the state of Florida at all. None of that stuff that she talks about is even reality. Nobody does those type of things. Nobody takes your child from you. Okay. And just never lets you see it again. What was happening? Who was there when I was logged in on the Zoom at the magistrate? Because who was there? My lawyer was there, Miss G. The lady that I deal with that is the case manager. The case manager dealing with Ashlyn, the one that actually physically goes to the grandmother's house and inspects Ash, takes a picture of her, and talks to her and inspect her for any bruises or any injuries to her body. That woman is also there. She's the case manager. The manager above her is there, and the guardian of Ashlyn is also there because she does have a guardian advocate. So all of us were there, including the judge that was proceeding over the case. This was just to enter my plea of wanting to go ahead and accept the plea bargain of completing these tasks in order to get my child back. And it's called a reunification date. A reunification date has already been established that I have until March 22nd to do all my tasks, and then my child should be reunified with me on March 22nd, according to the plan, action. And so we already got a date established. It was already signed by the judge. The judge said, because I told the judge when it was my turn to speak, I said, I already started my court-appointed therapy. I started it yesterday. I was approved to be the program. I already met my therapist. And I've already updated my address, even though I didn't want to. But I said, Judge, Your Honor, please make sure my address is always kept confidential. Never release my address to anyone. And they signed it off. They had some other secretary for the judge to write into the records that everything is confidential. Nobody is supposed to access my address at all, especially not her grandmother. Made sure that I had a confidentiality clause written into the contract of the plea agreement. I wasn't gonna leave without that confidentiality clause. And the judge did sign off that everything that I do with my child is confidentiality. When it comes to, because what's going to happen is we have to have visitation. I did get visitation rights, which means that it's going to be the guardian advocate, the case manager, and Ashlyn on a Zoom meeting where it's supervised visitation on Zoom only because of the distance. I'm 200 miles from her, and so I can't go back and forth. But the visitation is required. I do have to check in with the case manager 2 times a month. I keep all my records. I make sure that if you are required by law to do a contact with the case manager to make sure that you're on track, make sure that you email them. That way you got a paper trail, and that way they can't say that you didn't comply with the agreement. So always make sure that when you contact them for your check-in, do it electronically where it leaves a trail, okay? Don't never just call up where you ain't got no record of it. See, I know, because let me tell you something. Always make sure that your ass is covered, okay? Because you don't want to wait till the last minute and they say, oh, well, she didn't complete the 2-time-a-month check-in. Because they were playing that game on some people at the courts, but the judge wasn't having it. I'll tell you what was happening. Okay, so I already started that. I already, did one check-in for the month, and I also started the therapy. And the judge was like, "That's good. You already have started on the case plan. The psychological evaluation, I'm scheduling for that." And the judge said, "Rush on that." And the judge said to the CPS, "You have until next week to get her scheduled for that, and you have to do it by next week, and it must be done by next week." And she's a very stern judge, but she's a very good judge. She's a very stern. She was really angry at them for trying to fuck people up on purpose in some cases. I was the last case to be called, so it was like maybe 30 cases ahead of mine. Took a couple of hours to get up through, because when you go to court, you have to sit there and wait for your case to be called. And while you're waiting, you have all these other people ahead of you. So it's like watching a Judge Judy or a Judge Joe Brown or something like that, but it's real life. It ain't no fiction. It's real life. That's real life too, because I know somebody that really had to sue somebody and they went on Judge Judy. That's a real person I know. I don't know Judge Judy. Let me be clear. I don't know Judge Judy, but I know this bitch that took her aunt to court over some rent or some shit. And they went to, no, it was Judge Joe Brown they went to. They went to Judge Joe Brown, and I watched it, and it was hilarious because I knew the motherfuckers, so I knew about the dispute. I knew who they were. I knew that they were really mad at each other. Let me tell you something. Those judges, they actually paid both of them for doing it, and it was just a way for the debt to get paid, because when you appear on those shows, they actually pay it off. They don't make the other person pay. They actually, for you coming on the show, they pay off the debt for you. That's what they did. They paid the debt off for the bitch. They were related, but they knew about that, so they said they were just going to act a fool at the courts. And they did, and they went there professional. This is a motherfucker that I know that loves getting on the news and going on court shows. I love you, P. Love you, P. If you see this, I love you, P. I'm not trying to diss you. I'm just talking shit. Okay? Love you, P. I'm not trying to diss you. That was so hilarious when they were doing that. But anyway, let me get back to the point. Okay, so what was going on in the courts? I was successful. I looked successful. I did tend to talk a little bit too much. The judge did snap at me a couple of times, because I was mad because of the way they portrayed me and in the filing of the petition. They portrayed me in a very bad light. They said something about me that was not accurate, and I was mad. And I had contacted the case manager before the court, and I had told them, "You need to remove that." She said, "Well, I don't have a problem with altering it." And when I got to the court, I said, "Your Honor, I want to object to the way they portrayed me in one of the court filings." And I explained that, and then she said, "Well, that was already adjudicated, so don't worry about it." Adjudicated means it was thrown out. So they used a word that, let me just tell you what they did. They said that I had done some dangerous actions that was dangerous to people around me. I've never been dangerous. I've never had a felony or misdemeanor, and I didn't really like how they used the word dangerous about me. I said, no, I object to that description. And it was adjudicated, and it was dismissed from the case filings, and they did remove it. Because I'm not that. So, you can't say that about me. So I did object, and it was adjudicated, and I'm happy. Let me tell you something. Always stand up for yourself. Always learn how to say I object. Raise your hand and say I object, Your Honor. When the judge takes a pause and you don't know when to break in, and there's all these other people that's talking, when it's their turn, raise your hand real quick. When somebody stops talking, I object, Your Honor. I would like to object to the fact that they filed something and used the incorrect description about me. And they did blah, 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 blah. I was talking a lot because they got so many cases that you got to be fast and you got to be quick to the point. But she said it was adjudicated, and that's all that matters. Once it's been adjudicated, it's dismissed. No, move on. Let her drop it. Move on. All you gotta hear, once they say it's been adjudicated, it's done. Nothing else to say. Shut the fuck up. Let them go on with the rest of the court. Okay, so then so the visitation was set, the reunification date was set, the therapy already started, the counseling, the evaluation starts next week or this week. The evaluation got to be done by next week. And then, they said even without no furniture, they need to come in and start the inspection because they do have to check for structural damage, make sure there ain't no damages on the porch or nothing. And they do have to check for all of that if there's any damages. And then at least they could start on that. And then we could sit outside and do the parenting classes. So I said, I'm ready for that. Then they said, enter it. State blah 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 on the record, please. And I had to state some information so they could record it that I had agreed to certain things, and that's what the deposition is all about, that you accept the plea agreement. Whole process is very stressful. You're hoping that you get all the things right. And my lawyer was there, and if anything was going to be astray, those lawyers know to protect you, and they were good lawyers. So I'm gonna tell you about some other motherfuckers. It was a lot of successful people in there that had already completed all their tasks. They got their reunification date and they got their kids back. It was a lot of people that was winning. It was this black chick with Demarcrius and Samprius and Lucretius, some strange names like that. LaRondra Jackson or some shit. She got all her kids back. As raggedy as her names was, I didn't see her. She was on the phone in. She wasn't on the Zoom chat. Because you either got a phone in or she didn't show her fucking face. I show my face on the Zoom. I don't be doing the call in. You can call in or you can do the Zoom. She was on the Zoom. She was on the chat, on the on the phone thing, not the chat. I'm so tired, guys. I'm so tired. She was on the phone. She got Demarcrius back and she was all happy. She got whatever the other ghetto ass names was. She got all her 3 niggas back. I was happy for her. She did her work search. She did everything. Everything that she did was perfect. Her case was done like that. She got her kids back just like that. And if she could do it, how the fuck is NinaUnrated? How the fuck is NinaUnrated the failure out of everybody? How is NinaUnrated and she can't get Maximus back, but LaRondria or whatever her name is got Demarcrius and all her other niggas back? Now, if somebody with some names like that can get their kids back, and Nina Santiago can't even get one child back, Shanquinique or LaRondria, she got 3 kids back in one day. Some people don't get all their kids back. Some people got tasks. Some people are on uncompliance. Some people are fighting. It was this one lady. She was listed as uncompliant. She was uncompliant on every level of everything. She was arguing with the ex-husband. He was mad. He was she was sending angry emails. They had angry emails that she was sending. She wasn't complying. She wasn't cooperative. She was failing on every level. And this was a white chick that was failing. She was mad at the CPS. And honestly, the CPS are kind and friendly if you compliant. If you doing that, that's when they get mean and mad. You got to be compliant and cooperative. You got to be calm and gentle. But if you're doing all that type of stuff, fighting and arguing with your ex-husband and sending angry emails and not complying with the task, of course your ass not gonna get your kids back like that. How the fuck Lacrondria? Lacrondria, she was kicking ass. She was, when they called her case, everything was in full compliance. White bitch arguing, she had failed a drug test. It was a couple of white folks that were testing positive for the random drug screening. They were testing positive for cocaine. They were testing positive for marijuana, for the random drug test, because they just pop up at your house and demand a piss sample. from out of nowhere. That's called a random. When they just creep up on you and demand a random, that means it's on the spot. You got 40 minutes. That's it. Go get it. Go do it now. Sometimes you could even get to court and the judge will do a random on them. I seen a couple of people, they'll say, you got 40 minutes to get to the bathroom and do a random drug test. 40 minutes, we got to get the results. That means random at any time. You don't know when they're going to come for you. That's how the white folk was getting busted. Because there was randoms where somebody was just coming up and demanding a piss sample from out of nowhere. Testing positive for cocaine. I think it was 2 tested positive for cocaine, 1 tested positive for marijuana with no marijuana card. There was 1 uncompliant, and Lashandria kicked all of their ass. Lashandria already finished. I'm just beginning. Lashandria with Demarcus, he already did that. Okay, he already back with his mama. He already back with Big Mama somewhere. He already back. What? She want Demarcus and Lashandria and Lucretia girls. When they I was so happy for Lashandria. Go girl, Lashandria. You got Demarcus back. You got Lashandria's back. You got Lashandria's back. Is he related to Crocodile? What? And the judge was white, a kind of middle-aged white woman, and she just said those names so perfectly. She didn't stutter or stammer. She actually, I can't even remember the names, but she actually said the names with no, because a lot of times they get to certain names when it's like a really ghetto name or something, and they'll say, I'm sorry, I don't think I can pronounce this properly, and then the person will say, DeMarco, or whatever stupid name, and then, but this judge didn't even hesitate. She just said, Lucretia, blah, 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 Demarcus, blah, blah, blah. I was keeping it professional, but I wanted to howl with laughter. I also wanted to start clapping that fat. I could tell by her voice on the phone she was just a fat gorilla bone. But the gorilla bone, she wasn't playing. She was in full compliance. White folk getting high, snorting cocaine, smoking weed, getting busted. Getting their kids in even more trouble because now they got to stay in the foster care, or the grandparents, the granddads and grandmas always come in for these people. It was this elderly black man. He had to take care of some Shanquinese kids, and he said, "I'm just trying to make a nice home for my children." He was even successful with that. The black folk was coming in with full compliance. The old elderly black man, he was like, I want to make a good home for the children. Woo, shit, they were full force compliance. Okay, and then who else? It was this man. He was like a Hispanic dude. He was on the Zoom. I saw his face, but he kept the camera where you could only see his eyes. He didn't show his whole face. Okay, he was homeless. He had lost his job. He had relocated to Hillsborough County to find work, but he relocated back to Polk County so he could get his children or whatever. He had completed his 12-step PACE program for substance abuse. He had successfully completed his program, and he was happy. And the judge said, "Congratulations, we do." But the CPS had fucked him up and didn't have his completion papers. So the judge needed to see the completion papers so she could sign the order. He wasn't finished, so he was homeless. He didn't have a house, so he was. So the CPS, they actually started saying that they were in the process of trying to find him a house. He was in a housing program, so they did sign him up for a housing program. So they said, so the judge said they had 1 month to find him a house, and the CPS actually had to finance him a home. Okay, not a house for him to buy, just whatever the program is. Okay, so he did have employment, which was good. He had completed his substance abuse program. So what he was doing was he was trying to get visitation rights at any time, unsupervised visitation rights from the foster care. So this bitch from the CPS, after the caseworker had approved him for this, and the judge was fine with the order. But it's so from out of nowhere, this bitch from the CPS, another department, said, Judge, Your Honor, I want to object. I think that I want to put an 8-hour limit on his visitation rights. The kind man that was, trying to get his children back said, Your Honor, I will object. I just want, and he was really eloquent. I'm not going to put it in. He said he just wanted to get his children and try to take the load off of the foster care people that was taking care of the children. And he didn't want to be going through caseworkers. He just wanted to be able to go to the house and just pick them up and go to a public area with them. And that he said he just didn't want to keep having to check in. He just wanted unlimited visitation as long as it was approved by the foster care people, the foster family. Well, the bitch jumped in, and then the judge got mad and said, why? She said, and I can't remember it every word for word. She said, I approved this, and now you're objecting to it. So now the case manager said she was okay with it. Now I have to make sure that everybody is on board with this. And the man was eloquently explaining why he wanted it that way. And then the case manager his case manager was a Hispanic dude. Oh. His case manager was a Hispanic dude. So what happened was the case manager was Hispanic, and he wasn't having that. He said, I don't object to it. I have no problems with what he's requesting. And then he said, thank you, Your Honor. He was living out of his car. He was already on full visitation. Full visitation. Come and see his kids whenever he wants to. His next step is getting into a house, getting into an apartment. Then he gonna get into his reunification. There's hope for everybody. There's hope for everybody. Don't believe NinaUnrated that somebody just took her child and vanished in Nevada. Nobody can do that. Nobody can ever just take your child and vanish to another state. That's impossible. The FBI would be on that person so fast, it's not even funny. They don't play around when it comes to children with the CPS out here in Florida. Because a lot of kids was getting abducted. You remember that little boy, Adam Walsh, from John Walsh, the America's Most Wanted dude on Fox? His kid was one of those kids that he got his head cut off. Somebody had abducted him from the mall. And honestly, when I went to that mall where his son got abducted in Hollywood, Florida, that thing was so fucking creepy. It was so creepy. Because that's where he had got abducted from that Sears. And it was so creepy that they had to shut that thing down and they demolished it. Because honestly, once that little boy was found with his head cut off, nobody wanted to go to that mall anymore. It was just too creepy and dreary. It was a creepy ass mall. For some reason, honestly, you could feel the horror of that event of when that little boy got snatched and then found with his head cut off in the swamps. They found his body, but they claim they found the killer after so many years. But honestly, that place where he got kidnapped was just too creepy, and nobody wanted to visit there. Everybody just stayed away from it. All the stores went out of business. It really just destroyed every business. It honestly was. It was just such a horror story of the little Adam Walsh that got decapitated from that mall. So, when it comes to children, a lot of people, now out here we got Amber Alerts. I turn my Amber Alerts off because it's too freaky and creepy. If you're from a state that don't have Amber Alerts come on your phone and go boom, 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 and then it shows you a Florida license plate number, and it says look out for car that look like this and that. Then it shows you the child that's abducted, and then it starts saying that it goes all over Florida. If you see this car, this last time it was spotted was on such and such highway carrying the child. The last one I got, it was a Amber Alert with some motherfuckers from Georgia. It was two ugly Shanquiniques that stole somebody's child from a playground. And they had Georgia plates. And they were leaving to get out of Florida to take the child into Georgia. Hopefully they caught the motherfuckers and brought the child back to Florida, because they did have Georgia plates. It said Georgia on it. So I don't know the story. It looked like they could have been related to the child, because they did all look similar. But, so the point is, can't no motherfucker come into Florida and take no child from NinaUnrated and take the child all the way to Nevada, and then you never see him again. That type of shit is the idea of a complete horror to any parent, to lose a child to another state with an unknown person that you can't get back. She always says the child is with the child's father. Ain't no shit like that happening. What most likely happened, how come NinaUnrated don't talk about her case plan? Was NinaUnrated ever given a case plan? How come everybody else showed up in court, got a case plan? How come everybody else got a reunification date? How come everybody that was at court had a court-appointed lawyer paid for by the state of Florida? So how come NinaUnrated is saying that Maximus is missing to another state all the way in Nevada? Go type in NinaUnrated Maximus or custody child, and look at that bullshit that she got all over the YouTube. It's nothing but false narrative and fuckery. NinaUnrated needs to be ashamed of her goddamn self. She really should. What was Nina? Okay, so I was at the court. Okay, I was at the court, Polk County, Bartow, bitch. Bartow, Polk County Government Center Courthouse on the Zoom, talking to the judge. Also in the court-reported therapy, Polk County again. NinaUnrated, Broward County. I know Broward like the back of my hand. Lived in Broward County, Dade County, Duval, Hillsborough, Polk County. I know all the county reps, okay? County rep zones, I know all that shit. I know about Broward County. And I know the agency is the same motherfuckers that I'm dealing with. So NinaUnrated, she a liar. The shit she talking about don't even happen. But where the fuck was NinaUnrated when I was at the courts? NinaUnrated was in Dallas, Texas at the strip club with some Mexican chick doing a money count. Last night, when you see her video, her last video was at the strip club in Dallas, Texas. Her video before that was her getting on United Airlines from Miami after getting her hair and nails done. And what was she at yesterday or last night in Dallas, Texas, doing money counts, counting stacks and stacks of cash at the strip club with some Mexican chick. So if NinaUnrated doing money counts in Dallas, Texas, she claiming her son is in Nevada, her case was in Broward County, Florida. What fuck was she doing in Miami, Dade? What was she doing in Dade County? She was, getting her hair done and her nails done so she could go to Texas. And NinaUnrated ain't serious about shit. I'm sitting up here and watching her video, and then I'm stressing out about my court case. And what was NinaUnrated doing in Dallas, Texas, doing money count? Doing money count with some Mexican chick I ain't never seen before on no YouTube, and never. Some strange girl I ain't never seen her with. Just some stranger she'd have met online, and she can go to meet a stranger at a Dallas, Texas strip club and do money counts and swinging off of poles and showing panties and bras and butt plugs. That's what NinaUnrated was doing last night while I was getting prepared for court to get my child back. So next time NinaUnrated is crying about Maximus being taken from her to Nevada, ask NinaUnrated, where were you last night? Were you in Dallas, Texas, or were you preparing for your case plan action at court in Broward County? She said, Broward County, what? Broward County, where? She lives in Atlanta, Georgia. So you are in Atlanta, Georgia, but your case was in Broward. So why Broward County, Florida, and you're in Georgia? Now you're in Dallas, Texas. So where is your son, Nina Unrated? Oh, he's in Nevada with his dad, but he don't let me talk to him. Then where is your case plan action and your lawyer? And don't be begging for donations talking about you need money for a lawyer. I remember when she was begging for donations claiming that she needed money for a lawyer, and people were stupidly sending her in thousands of dollars that she used for her hair, nails, and makeup, and wigs, and weaves, and plugs, and panties, and bra sets, and workout outfits, and eating shrimps and crabs with B-Love and everybody else. And then she's sitting up one day on a live, mad at B-Love and the Baddie twins for going to Miami without her and eating at a fine restaurant, and didn't call her while they were in Miami, Florida, eating crabs and lobster without Nina Unrated. She's so fucking stupid. She's sitting up here. That's why I tell you, you ain't got no motherfucking friends. She did collabs with B-Love. She did collabs with the Baddie twins. She did collabs with some of these other motherfuckers that didn't even call her and didn't even invite her to the fucking grub out, the fucking mukbang that they all filmed together without Nina Unrated. And where is she at? With nobody. Nobody was there except for that dude, King, whatever his name, and the dog Hunter and Loyal. Wait, the dog is Loyal and the cat is Hunter. Now, Nina Unrated, if you had your son, at least that's your flesh and blood. At least you would have been with your family instead of moaning and groaning about how B-Love and the Baddie twins dissed the fuck out of you. I was sitting there laughing at that immature, stupid bitch. She should know better at her age. You ain't got no motherfucking friends, Nina Unrated. They were playing you for the collabs. They don't give a fuck about you. And then you stupid enough to get on the live and confess that it hurt your motherfucking feelings that everybody was eating out in Miami without you while you were in Miami and didn't even bother to give your ass not even one motherfucking phone call. Fuck you, Nina Unrated is how they played you. And then you so fucking stupid. You sitting there crying and mad, talking about, I helped them out. I did this for them. How many times I done told you motherfuckers, you ain't got no motherfucking friends at the end? Because when you die, bitch, you die alone. And I'm not saying that they gonna kill Nina Unrated. I'm just saying, the point is not about life or death, but you ain't got no fucking friends. In the end, bitch, you gonna be sitting at that table by your goddamn self. But if you tried to get Maximus back, at least you got your flesh and blood that came out of your actual pussy. At least your actual blood relative would have been sitting there with you. But you were crying about strangers that don't give a fuck about you. And they played you and they made you look stupid as fuck, and you were so fucking dumb that you got on the live and you actually confessed how much they cut you and stabbed you in the back. That's all they were, was nothing but backstabbers. They used you for views and that was it. Once you were done, you were through, they stepped all over you and they rocked off and laughed at you and talked about you behind your back, probably while they were licking their nasty fingers and sucking on that crab and lobster that you didn't get to eat with them. So where's Maximus at? Where's your son at now, Nina Unrated? Where's your son? Oh, now you don't have a son. And you also don't have B-Love. And you also don't have the Baddie twins. And guess what? You probably don't even have that Mexican chick that you doing that money count with in Dallas. Because once she gone, she going to be in Texas. And your ass going to be in Georgia or Miami or wherever the fuck you float on a plane. You need to understand something about life, Nina Unrated. All these collabers, they ain't doing nothing but you using them. And they using you for views. You using them for views, let's be real. You using them for views, and they're using you for views. That's why I don't collab with no motherfucker. Because I don't do collabs. Because at the end of the day, all it is people using each other for views. Nobody is their real friend. They're all fake. And one day they're going to all turn on each other anyway. Because they ain't friends to each other either. They're just making friends to collab. And if that's all you doing is making friends to collab with whoever got the biggest numbers, then you ain't nothing but a fake ass friend chasing clout numbers, and that's how they gonna play you when they find another number buster that they gonna get bigger numbers with by dissing you, and they gonna go fuck you and go run off with the next number bitch. Chasing numbers ain't gonna work for nobody. Because in the end, you ain't got no friends. Always remember that. But Nina Unrated, if you don't try to get your son back, guess what? You're going to be all on your own. And when you old and you can't strip and sell pussy no more, bitch, do you realize that I don't know if you pay taxes on your money, but you do realize that in order to qualify for a retirement check of Social Security insurance, you do have to pay into the system. And if you ain't never had a job where you got credits to pay into the system for retirement, then your retirement is only going to be supplemental, which ain't gonna be shit at all. You'll be lucky if you could find a studio apartment off of what you got. And yes, you'll be lucky if you were even eligible to receive food stamps and Medicaid. When you old, if you're not paying into the Social Security system with a legit job, then you ain't gonna have enough credits to retire in a comfortable manner. Guess what? Florida Pile 8, I've been working legally since I was 14 years old, a legal job where I paid money into the government. I was eligible to retire at the age of 30 with real income, not supplemental, with real insurance, retiree benefits. I achieved that at the age of 30, working for the airlines. I was able to retire at the age of 30. I qualified for retiree benefits at that young age. My friend Chrissy, she was retired. She started working at the same time. I started at 19. She started at 18. She worked for Continental. She took a program called Early Out. It was called an Early Out program for people that wanted to retire early. She retired at the age of 30 with full benefits from Continental Airlines that rolled over to United Airlines. She was able to retire from Continental Airlines at the age of 30, and she went into another field, real estate. She didn't want to just sit at home, so she went back to school, got another tree. She already qualified for retiree. She legally was able to retire at the age of 30 through the Early Out program. You strippers don't understand life. That fast money action, if it ain't going into the government through FICA, I think it is, then you ain't gonna have no retirement fund. So what are you gonna do when you're old and gray? Hopefully you're setting up something for your retirement. You ever think about that, Nina Unrated? Where's your retirement fund? Where's your IRAs? Where's your 401ks? Do you have any of that? Have you invested into your future? I hope you've been investing into your future. You don't have a son to take care of you. Where's Maximus? Oh, you don't remember where Maximus is probably now, because he's not going to take care of you. Why would he? You didn't take care of him. So where are you going to be? On YouTube? Probably not. So anyway, I just want to laugh at you for being so fucking stupid, thinking that the stripper income is the business when it's really not. It's just flimsy, fake. I mean, it ain't fake money. Yes, you get your hair and nails done and you live in a nice apartment. And yes, I get all that. But you failed all, and I'm not knocking you for trying. You failed your physical personal fitness examinations for the state of Florida twice. I'm a certified fitness instructor through Delta Airlines. I passed my certification one time, passed it. Got my certification, FAA Federal Aviation Certification. Top that bitch. You couldn't even pass not even your one test. I passed it on my first test. What did I pass for surgical nurse? I passed the TABE test the first time, got accepted for surgical nursing. Working in the surgical room. I had to drop out of class for some stuff, but I passed the TABE test, which was rare. I passed it the first time with flying colors. TABE test is one of the hardest tests you can take in the state of Florida for entrance exams for surgical nursing. To be a surgical nurse, you got to be very smart. I could tell you about surgical nursing. You gotta know all the instruments for every surgery, and you gotta know how to set up the surgical room. You gotta know how to take care of the surgeon's hands. You gotta know how to dress him. You gotta take care of all his surgery. When he asking for stuff, you gotta know how to hand it to him. You gotta pass him these things. When he asking for something, for whatever the surgery is, you gotta know each one. It's hundreds of tools. You gotta know all of them. You gotta know which surgery each one is used for. You gotta have a good memory to know exactly how to set up the whole room. Your responsibility is crucial. You gotta set the whole room up for the surgeon. You come in before him. It's 3 of them that you gotta work on a team. Everybody has to be teams. I know about surgical nursing, baby. Had to drop out, but I don't like the medical industry anymore, and I quite frankly I would never go back into the and to finish my course. I don't want to ever do it. I just don't feel comfortable in hospitals. So I'm glad it was, when I had to drop out of the program for financial reasons, I cried. But honestly, it was a blessing in disguise, because I would never ever want to work that industry ever. Sometimes things work for you, and I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in Satan. But sometimes things work for you, believe it or not. It might seem very awful when it happens to you, but the universe is telling you, no, this is not for you. Go, 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 go. And you might fight it and cry, but you at the time you don't understand why you just didn't. The universe didn't make it financially possible for you to finish the course. And then you cry and you wish that you could have finished the course. And then you forget about it. And then now life tells me, hell no. I'm so glad I didn't waste my time with that industry. No, not for me. Yes, you make good money, $100,000 a year or more. But do I want to do that in a hospital? Fuck no. Hell no. I never want to step foot in one ever again. Don't want to die in one. Prefer to die wherever I need to die, where in natural causes, in a field somewhere, in nature, and not by no death or not somebody strangling me or murdering and raping me. But if I got to old age, I would just walk out my house and go lay down in the garden. Honestly, if I felt like I was 110 years old and I would just say, hey, if Vash was around, let me just go lay out in the garden, lay on the grass. And then when it's my time to go, right there, boom, right in nature. Ain't nobody fuck me over, ain't no foul play. Nature said, hey, come on. I'll be ready at that time, but ain't nobody gonna take my life. When I would know. I'm too goddamn old, and I would just go out to nature and just die on my own. No hospital, no medical staff, no doctors poking and prodding. If I got back up the next day, I would get up, get some water, get some fruits and whatever. But I would be clinging to trees, nature. Nature's calling, I'm answering. Whenever you're ready, I am. If I got to that goddamn level. But not in no hospital ward. Never. That's not where I want to die. If I drop, boom, right there on the grass, right there with dirt. Eat some dirt, hopefully get back up. That's all it is. But whatever, because honestly, you might not know the joke, but some primitive people, when they're dying, they eat dirt because it got nutrients in it, iron and minerals, and they get back up, believe it or not. A lot of times when they're pregnant, they just dig a hole and get the clay and eat it. That's how they give birth. That's just because you are dirt, made out of dirt. So listen, I'm not trying to die anytime soon. I said that if I was over 100, nice garden in the state of Florida somewhere, nice garden, lay down. And if I go to sleep and I don't get back up, at least I know for real, resting in peace. But I'll be back. Trust that. Because I believe in reincarnation. So, baby, I'll be back. That's all I say to Ash. Baby, don't worry about me. I'll be back. Maybe we'll meet again. Maybe not. Nice knowing you. Don't give a fuck. Don't even cry. Just say, Mommy, goodbye. Wave at me at the star. Most likely I'll be resting at the star of Satan. See me up in the stars twinkling. Say hi, Mommy. Wave at me. That's it. Because I'll be a star, bitch. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Keep on moving. Keep it positive. Keep on moving. That's all it means. So anyway, live fiercely, love viciously, and remember, atheism is unstoppable. Bye, guys.